is already set up for social services. They've been running inpatient addiction treatment there, and so it's really almost a move-in ready environment. And again, the families each have their own private rooms, which we're really excited about. And so I know that there will be concerns that you have up front and right away, and so I just want to address a few right now. So we currently run 3 shelters for homeless families with children downtown. And each time that we have opened a new shelter, the neighborhood has been worried about trash, about the presence of drug use and needles, about people loitering around and waiting for services. And we take the neighborhood's concerns really seriously, and we've become really skilled at addressing these kinds of problems so they don't become issue. One thing is that we're working with families with children, so it's a very different population, certainly very different than the population on 61st and Foster. These aren't single men who have been homeless for 15 or 20 years. These are children and their parents who are homeless and need a place to stay. The families will be welcome in the space for 24 hours a day, so families, they won't have to line up to loiter or get in. They'll just be able to come and go in the program as they want to. We perform background checks on every single one of the families that comes into the program, including our staff and our volunteers. Everyone who is there has a background check. We ensure a drug-free shelter environment, so families who are recovering from addiction have a supportive place to be. Our staff are very present. We'll have 3 staff on duty at all times. They'll do hourly checks around the building to make sure there's no one loitering or trash. Again, I've said this, but I want to reiterate it. We really want to make sure we have ongoing feedback mechanisms with you all here, so that we can continually improve our programming and make it more relevant and better for the neighborhood and to address any problems or concerns. And so with that, I'll just say I'm super excited about this neighborhood, about being here with you all tonight, and I am happy to answer questions or chat about anything you're wondering about.
Are all your spaces already filled?
For the new shelter? No, they aren't filled. No, so we will likely open this fall, September or October, and we'll probably start filling spaces, I don't know, maybe in September. The way we've opened shelters in the past is we start kind of taking reservations for intake appointments, maybe a week or 2 in advance, and so we'll do that as well. That we'll have a couple weeks of intake appointments so that families can come in, see the space, do their paperwork, and then move in.
And the kids will go to neighborhood schools?
Yeah, so there's the kids who experience homelessness have a couple of options, and it's all through the federal government. It's the McKinney-Vento Act, which was passed in 1992, and so it sets up a couple of protections for kids. If they have 2 choices. One, they can stay in their neighborhood school, like their school wherever they were, and then that school is required to provide transportation to and from the shelter. Most schools do it in the form of just a monthly TriMet bus pass for the whole family, which is kind of nice because then mom, dad, all the kids get one. Although I have seen for our downtown shelters, we've had some kids going to Cherry Park Elementary School out here, and they got picked up in a taxi every morning. Little 9-year-old Isaiah. But most often it's TriMet bus passes. The other option is the kids do have an option to switch to the shelter district school. So they would have that option here, and we are in conversation with Kelly and Earl Boyles to make sure that we have a good connection there, and that there's homeless liaisons also assigned to each school, so we'll know them and make sure that our kids are able to go there.
Alex, go ahead.
Thank you. How do you identify prospects for your residents?
For families who will stay with us.
Yeah, do other social service agencies approach you, or?
Yeah, so we are part of Multnomah County's Homeless Family System of Care, the longest name. And so we all share a coordinated access system. So whenever a family experiences homelessness anywhere in Multnomah County, they can call 211, or they can just walk up to any homeless family agency. There's 9 of us. It's Join and Human Solutions and IRCO and SEI and NEA, NARA, Latino Network, all the big agencies and us. And so you can go to any 9 of our organizations or call 211 and you get an assessment. And then families are put on a wait list. They're prioritized based on who needs the service the most, who's the most vulnerable. And so then we take families from that coordinated wait list. So that's how families come to us. And then when they get referred to us from this big system wait list, that's when we do the background check and the intake paperwork and things like that.
So you mentioned mommies and daddies and children. Is that always true?
Oh, no. So our definition of family is very liberal. It's a group of people who identify as a family and have children under 18 in their care. So we have every iteration of family. Single moms, single dads, married parents, unmarried parents, same-sex parents. We've had mom-grandma kids. We've had two sisters who each have kids who are living together. So it's really kind of whatever your family looks like. The only requirement is that there be children. So you have to have kids under 18 in your care, and then you have to be experiencing homelessness. Those are the only, and then be willing to pass a background check.
Average period of homelessness before they arrive on the island?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Obviously, there's a big crisis of homelessness in Portland right now. I would have said 3 or 4 years ago, an average of 2-3 months homeless. Now, I'd say an average of 6 to 12 months homeless. But it's a different kind of homelessness often. It's couch surfing, it's sleeping in cars, it's not often the outside tent camping or things like that. But it's getting longer, and even that wait list I was talking about, there's 800 families on that wait list right now. So it's huge. So the wait time just to get to the top of the wait list can sometimes be a year. So yeah.
It's interesting that if I'm in a family unit, I find another accommodation than a tent.
Yeah.
So yes, cars, yes, couches.
Yes. Yeah, because they want those kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Phyllis brought up a good point. So we served 61% of our clients last year were kids. So the vast majority of the people we serve are kiddos, and half of those kids are under 5. So we have a lot of little kiddos. So the Oregon Department of Education put out the numbers for kids who experienced homelessness in the 2016-17 school year. In Multnomah County alone, there were 4,317 students that experienced homelessness. And that doesn't count their little brothers and sisters who aren't in kindergarten yet. And that's just Multnomah County. Statewide, it was 22,000 kids experienced homelessness in that one school year. It is ridiculous. It's shameful. Yeah.
As part of the background check, will they be drug tested? And if they test positive, will they be out right away and make room for a new family?
Yeah, so when families do have relapses, we try to work with them to get them right back on track so that they can continue in the program. If they continue to use and aren't willing to get sober, then we do have to ask them to leave and replace them with a family who can participate.
You said you'd be helping 24 families?
26.
26 families. And kind of a loose definition of what constitutes a family. So how many people are you talking?
Yeah, it's going to be about 65 to 85 people at a time, depending on size of families. If it's like a bunch of, sometimes there was last January, we had like 6 single moms with just 1 or 2 kids each, and then a couple of 2-parent families. So there's only like 19 people at the Goose Hollow Family Shelter. Sometimes Goose Hollow was with those 8 families. Sometimes Goose Hollow has like 32 people. So it's 8 families, and it swings between 18 and 30. And so I'm anticipating that this new shelter will swing between 65 and 85. Other questions? Good questions.
Do you have a kitchen on site that you feed them, or how do you?
We do, yeah. So we have the building already has a big commercial kitchen that we'll be able to use. And so we do 3 meals a day. The families will all have their rooms, their private bedrooms, but it's shared bathroom, shared living room, and shared kitchen with a big dining room. And so we'll do 3 meals a day, plus we do snacks, like a morning preschool snack and an after school snack. And then for dinners, though, we have a big community dinner. And what we've done at both of our other night shelters that we've run is we have volunteers who bring in dinner and serve it to the families who are there. And it's one big kind of community dinner where the volunteers, the staff, the families all eat together. And so it's a really lovely time. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about about training the people who live in these shelters to do the cooking?
Yeah, and that's one of our things that we're really excited about is we want every one of the like building functions to be a job training program. So janitorial, job training, facilities maintenance, job training, admin, job training, cooking, kitchen management, job training. Yes, absolutely. And that's something that we're really excited about. Our other shelters are in the basement of congregation buildings. And they're lovely, we love them, and they've been amazing partners. And we don't have access to the space, and we don't have the ability to do some of these programs like that. So we're really, really excited to be able to expand and have that opportunity. Yeah.
How large are these family rooms you're talking about?
They're actually really big. We're so excited. They're probably about 300 square feet each. Yeah, they're huge. I am so excited. And what we're hoping to do is have, we'll have a twin bunk bed set in each, and then a full with a twin bunk bed on top, and a dresser and a wardrobe, and then we can bring in cots and things if there's more than 4 or 5 people in a family. And we'll have we have lots of cribs and pack and plays and all kinds of that stuff as well.
How do you know the kids belong to those families, that they're not just bringing in some of the neighbor kids and, I mean, I'm sure it happens.
Yeah, well, I think if they brought in a couple extra kids, we'd probably be okay with that. As long as they all followed the community guidelines. And so when we opened the family winter shelter this year, we really thought of it as a children's shelter where their parents get to stay too. Because that's really what we're here for, is all of these kids.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Where's your funding coming from?
Great question. So half of our funding comes from the city and the county via the Joint Office of Homeless Services. They're going to sponsor about 55% of the Lents shelter operating. We get about $1.3 or $1.4 million from the Joint Office every year, and then we match that with another $1.5 million of private money from all the foundations, PGE, the Standard, tons and tons of individuals, like 900 different individuals give from $10 to $125,000 a year. So it's a lot of people coming together.
Do you have people in the neighborhood doing volunteer work at your facilities?
Yeah, we have some, and we're really, some people who already live in this neighborhood that work with us that are very excited about the move, but we are very excited to come to this neighborhood and just do outreach this summer to be able to welcome so many new volunteers into the space. We want to go to all the faith communities and go to all, places like this and all the neighborhood associations and just make sure that we are known in the community and that people, if you want to volunteer, that everyone is so welcome. Last year we had over 1,000 volunteers that visited our 3 programs, and they donated 12,000 hours of community service. So we not only love our volunteers, we really physically need them too. We really can't operate without them. And so we'll definitely be coming to the neighborhood to say, come one, come all, let's do this together.
Okay, if there are no more questions for her, we can move on to, does anyone have questions about their water bill?
Who wants to speak up first?
How do we lower it?
I guess I'm going to start with just a very short thought and then let the representatives from the 2 bureaus talk. So I'm Alan Lunn, I'm co-chair of the Portland Utility Board. We were put together about 2.5 years ago basically on behalf of the citizens of Portland. So we represent you. Basically looking at the financial side of the Water Bureau and the Bureau of Environmental Services. And, we're also very interested in your input. So if indeed we have a moment or two after these 2 fine folks speak, I can say, come to our meetings, we'd like to have your input.
Sure, Alan. Uncharacteristically sure. No. Thanks for having us tonight. My name is Mike Jordan. I'm the director of the Bureau of Environmental Services. We run the sewers, so sewage and stormwater services. Our sister bureau, the Water Bureau, is here tonight too. I know that everyone refers to the bill as the water bill, but it is all of those services on that bill. So can direct questions, obviously, to any one of us. I don't know what would be most helpful for you regarding information. Alan knows that I can suck all the air out of this room and go on as long as you'd like, but it probably makes more sense for me to respond to your questions, if that's helpful, and probably play off of those questions and tell you a little bit about the Bureau. If you'd rather, I can just do a few minutes of context about where we are as a Bureau and service-wise where we are. What do you think would be most? Yeah, sure.
We want to know about the increases and why.
Okay. Let me pass something out, and I don't know if you guys want to pass anything out or not tonight, but what I brought was, I don't know, do I really need this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I will use it then. What this is a PowerPoint presentation that we made to City Council earlier this year, last month actually, in May. And what this is oriented towards, and you can take it as a reference piece, I won't speak and go through it. But what it does is it talks about our rates and how, and it includes more than the